Hello and good morning friends, welcome once again to the CEC EduSec live lecture. Dear friends, as you know that since very long we are carrying a series on operation research, and under this very series we have conducted numerous topics, I would say, numerous lectures I would say, and we have conducted a lecture on dynamic programming. This is the second lecture on dynamic programming, and I hope that this lecture is also going to be one of the finest lectures, because to deliver this lecture on this particular topic, that is dynamic programming, we have again with us in our studios Dr. Subhash Kakkar. Dr. Kakkar is an eminent academician, and with the help of the classroom teaching as well as through various workshops, seminars, he tries to give his best. So taking advantage from his experience, let's welcome once again Dr. Subhash Kakkar. Dr. Kakkar, welcome to the EduSec lecture. As I already said, this is the second lecture on dynamic programming. I hope that students who might have watched you earlier would be benefited, and please kindly recall what dynamic programming is and explain us in detail.
Thank you, Gitika. Welcome viewers. Today's lecture is part of our series on lectures on operations research, and today's topic is dynamic programming, and this is part 2. One lecture has already been delivered where basics of dynamic programming were discussed. Of course, I will discuss those basics again, so that the viewers who are seeing this lecture for the first time, they should be also benefited. As we know that operations research problems, we try to find out the objective function as optimizing the resources. Either we try to maximize or minimize the values of the decision variables, and these decision variables are the variables which change or be controlled within the problem structure, and we try to find out the values of these decision variables, either maximizing or minimizing, which is our objective function. Usually these variables deal with simultaneously or collectively. Each of us, however, has been faced with problems in which it might be possible to break our decisions up into smaller components or parts, which we call decomposition, and then recombine our previous decisions in some form or the another, and then combine those decisions, and that is called composition to obtain the desired answer. This approach is called multi-stage approach or multi-stage problem solving technique, and this multi-stage problem solving technique is also known as dynamic programming, and it is a systematic technique for reaching an answer to a problem of this kind of structure. Many techniques for solving problems have been devised. A lot of algorithms have gone into the research, and we have now so many algorithms to have a solution to our problems in the form of multi-stage structure of the problem. Various constraints and configurations are there, and under those constraints we try to find out the best possible solution to our objective function. As we have already discussed, this objective function can be in the form of minimization or in the form of maximization. One might think that all of these procedures could be classified as those dealing with either linear programming problems as well as non-linear programming problems, and linear, non-linear, and all these problems can be solved using dynamic programming. And this dynamic programming cannot be uniquely classified in either category. In both the categories, whether linear or non-linear, we can make use of dynamic programming in finding the solution. Properly applied dynamic programming cuts across all fields of mathematical programming. Important applications have surfaced out, and this dynamic programming can be used in a number of applications, and these can be inventory control theory. We can have solution to our inventory control problems using dynamic programming, and network flows. The problems of networks can also be solved using dynamic programming. Job shop scheduling in operations management, while assigning jobs to different workers, assigning machines to workers, we can make use of dynamic programming tool. Production control problems can also be, solution can be found to the production control problems using dynamic programming. And similarly, even we can find a solution to our integer programming problems using dynamic programming. And many other areas where we can make use of dynamic programming as a tool to find a solution to our objective function. Dynamic programming has also proved useful in solving problems relevant to all fields of engineering. In technical field also, we make use of dynamic programming, and this dynamic programming can be used in two forms. One is a mathematical form, other is a computational form, means use of computers, and computational problems can also find a solution through dynamic programming tools. Although it might seem that we are about to produce the panacea of algorithm procedures, one should be forewarned that this is not true, because it is full of algorithms, but the basic technique, which is dynamic programming, which is breaking the problem into multi-stage problems and finding a solution, remains the same. Though we have lot of algorithms, panacea of algorithms to solve the problem using dynamic, but the basic structure of the problem remains same, that is converting the problem into multi-stage problem. Like all operation research techniques, dynamic programming has its limitations also and weaknesses also. However, when applicable, the technique can be spectacular with regard to the computational savings. When we use computational techniques to find a solution to our problem, this becomes very beneficial tool for our problem solving techniques. As I have already told, the structure of the problem is broken down into different stages and the solutions are found. As I have discussed, the different problems and these problems converted into different stages. Each stage we use some algorithm to find the best possible solution, and these solutions are combined together to find a solution to our basic problem. I will give you some history of this dynamic programming also. The founding father of dynamic programming and the main primarily responsible for the development of dynamic programming is Richard Bellman, who gave the idea of dynamic programming in 1940s and early 1950s. He was working with Rand Corporation, and he published lot of research papers using this technique, which he called dynamic programming. So, origin of this is since 1940, and after that so many people have worked on this particular topic and published their research papers and books also on dynamic programming, which are finding a great use in our today's problem solving techniques. If we discuss the history of dynamic programming, we will say that Richard Bellman is the father or the originator of this particular technique. There are dynamic programming perspectives also. Dynamic programming is a mathematical technique dealing with optimization of multi-stage processes. The basic concept remains the same, which says that a problem should be broken down into different stages different parts, different small problems. And this involves principle of optimality, which was given by Bellman. The optimal set of decisions in a multi-stage decision process problem has the property that whatever the initial stage be, state and decisions are, the remaining decision must constitute an optimal sequence of decisions for the remaining problem, and with the stage and state resulting from the first decision for occurring naturally considered as initial condition for solving a problem using dynamic programming. There are certain basic features of dynamic programming problem. Now, we will discuss those features which are just basic to dynamic programming only. In dynamic programming problems, decisions regarding a certain problem are typically optimized at subsequent stages rather than simultaneously or collectively. And this implies that if a program is to be solved or a problem is to be solved using dynamic programming, it must be separated into sub-problems, and these problems are, say, n number. And this is a basic feature of dynamic programming. Without this feature, we cannot solve the problem. Dynamic programming deals with problems in which choices or decisions are to be made at each stage. The set of all possible choices is reflected and are governed by the state at each stage. There is a difference between state and stage. Stage is where a decision is possible or where the decision is to be taken. State is a condition what exists at a particular state. And this is also a basic feature of the dynamic programming problem. Associated with each decision at every stage is a return function. Viewers must note a return function also exists in dynamic programming that evaluates the choice made at each decision in terms of contribution that the decision can make up the overall objective, maximization or minimization, what the case may be. And the fourth basic feature of dynamic programming solution is each stage n, the total decision process is related to its adjoining stages by a quantitative relationship called a transition function. Earlier we discussed the return function. Now we are discussing transition function. This transition function can either reflect discrete quantities or continuous quantities depending on the nature of the problem. Fifth basic feature of this dynamic programming is given the current state. As we have already discussed, there is a difference between state and stage. Now we are discussing the state part. Given the current state, an optimal policy for the remaining stages in terms of possible input state is independent of the policy adopted in previous stages. At any stage, the policy to be adopted is independent of the policy which was earlier taken at earlier stages. This is a basic feature of dynamic programming. Every stage we have a different solution to our sub-problem. We have a different algorithm to have a solution to our sub-problem. The next basic feature is the solution procedure always proceeds by finding the optimal policy for each possible input state at the present state. I will repeat this. The solution procedure always proceeds by finding the optimal policy for possible input state at the present stage. The next basic feature is the recursive relationship. We call this process as recursive process. In this, we divide the problem into a number of sub-problems, and we start with the end and we try to reach the start point. And then each stage we find a solution, we combine all the solutions to find the basic final solution to our problem. And we call this process a recursive process. A recursive relationship is always used to relate the optimal policy at stage n to the stage n minus 1 that follows, and so on. We keep on working and find solutions at different stages. By using this recursive relation, the solution procedures moves from stage to stage, each time finding an optimal policy, optimal solution to our sub-problem. For each state at the stage, until the optimal policy reaches the last stage and the solution is found to the last stage. Once the end stage optimal policy has been discovered, the n component decision vector can be recovered by tracing back through the n stages transition functions. We have discussed transition function, we have discussed return function, we have discussed state, we have discussed stage also. This was only the introduction to dynamic programming. Now we will start what exactly dynamic programming process is, and at appropriate time we shall be discussing the definition of stage, definition of state, return function as well as transition function. We will define the process of solving the problems using dynamic programming method. As I have already said, problem is decomposed into different stages, rather different sub-problems. Independently, solution is sought to these problems using different algorithms. And these solutions are then finally combined together to get a bigger solution to our main problem. I will repeat now, dynamic programming is a mathematical technique which is useful for making sequence of interrelated decisions where the objective is to optimize the overall outcome. Optimization may be in the form of minimization and it may be in the form of maximization. But somehow we have to find a solution to our objective function. And this is used to have solution to a variety of problems where decisions are made not just at one time but sequentially over many periods of time. When I say many periods of time, I have broken down the problem into sub-stages, and each stage is an interval and denotes time, and each stage we find a solution using different algorithms. The decisions made at one time influence the next period and all future periods. I have started finding the solution from the end. I have found a solution at the last stage, and this solution will have influence on the decisions which are taken subsequently when going back to the start point. Programming of a sequence of investment decisions, production, as we have already discussed, inventory control problems, scheduling problems in operations management, and replacement policies are certain business problems which have been solved by using dynamic programming approach. There are variety of problems which can be solved using this particular unique technique which is called dynamic programming. Even investment problems can have a solution using dynamic programming. Wherever a problem can be broken down into parts, we can make use of dynamic programming as a tool to find a best solution to that particular problem. Dynamic programming, however, refers to a general optimization technique rather than a particular technique that can be used to solve such types of problems. It is general in nature. It doesn't have only one particular algorithm. Using that particular algorithm and finding a solution. I again emphasize that number of algorithms are many which are used in finding a solution to the sub stages or sub problems. Depending upon the nature of problem to be solved, a separate solution approach may be used for each type of the problem. As we have already discussed, each sub problem will have a unique solution, and the procedure used to find a solution to this particular problem will also be different. The dynamic programming approach involves the optimization of the time related or multi-stage decisions, and this technique is also called multi-stage programming method because of the nature of multi-stage problem solving process. The dynamic programming approach involves the optimization of time related or multi-stage decision problem involving a series of single time problems or stages of development. Initially, problem is divided into several sub problems or stages, and these are solved subsequently until the initial problem is finally solved. Solution to the initial problem is nothing but summation of the decisions which are taken at different stages. The fundamentals of dynamic problem are the notions of recursion. Recursion in mathematics involves the determination of successive element by operations on a preceding element according to a formula, and Bellman's principle of optimality, and this was principle of optimality was given by Bellman. Bellman's principle is an optimal policy has the property that whatever the initial state and initial decision are, the remaining decision must constitute an optimal policy with regard to the state resulting from first decision. I repeat, an optimal policy has the property that whatever the initial state and initial decisions are, the remaining decision must constitute an optimal policy with regard to the state resulting from first decision. If we have reached a future stage, it is only because of the previous stage, and it is independent the way we have reached, what is the process we have used, but it is solely dependent on the previous stage and we have reached the future stage. It is totally independent of the way the process has been used in reaching the future stage from the previous stage. Defining some terms used in the field of dynamic programming. Now, we will define certain terms which are commonly used in dynamic programming. The first one is stage. I have used this word a number of times. Now, I am going to define this particular word. Stage, each point in the problem situation where a decision is made is called a stage. The fundamental thing is, it is a point in the process of finding a solution to a problem where a decision is required or where a decision is taken. Wherever a decision is taken, we term it as a stage. Stages frequently represent time period places, people or entities. For example, in a replacement problem, each year is a stage because we are taking a decision of replacement every year. So, every year is a stage. Maybe 2014, 2015, and this particular 2015 is a stage where decisions are taken on replacing certain of the assets. So, this is a time period, and time period can be a stage where the decisions are taken. Each year is a stage. In the salesman allocation problem, each territory represents a stage, because when he moves from one territory to other territory, he takes a decision. So, various decisions are taken at territory level. So, territory again is a stage. So, I think I am able to explain the meaning of stage. The second word is state. Information describing the problem condition at each stage, generally in the form of specific values of state variables, is referred to as a state. State is only the condition. Stage is a point where decisions are taken, but the state shows the condition of a particular variable in that particular stage. What is the value of that variable? That gives us the state of the variable. For example, a specific city is referred to as a state variable. A salesman is moving from one city to another city. When he reaches one city, he takes a decision. When he reaches another city, at that particular city, he takes a decision. So, city and the decision is taken. So, city in that case is a state. Specific city is referred to as a state variable in any stage of the shortest route problem. And set of cities, when we are discussing the route of a salesman, set of cities denote stage, each city denotes state. In particular stage, there may be 4 cities, so 4 states are there, but the stage is 1. So, one stage may have more than 1 states. In the replacement problem, there is only one state at each stage, the state of beginning with a new machine. Every stage, we are replacing the machine or using the old machine. If a new machine is taken into service, then the new machine is a state. If new machine is not taken into service, the old machine is continued to operate, then the old machine is a state. Consequently, the state variables link together various stages in a multi-stage decision problems. Our case is of multi-stage decision because we break the problem into sub-problems and each problem finds a solution. Decision or policy variable, and these variables are those variables where we can change their values to find the optimal solution to our problem. A decision is made at each stage. The decision or policy variable transforms the state variable from any given stage into a state associated with the next stage. For example, at any stage in the salesman allocation problem, a policy would be the allocation of some specific number of the available salesmen to the territory, represented by the stage. Now, if we discuss the salesman route problem, he moves from one city to another city, but the choices are there. that he can move to 4 cities, and at that point of time, at that particular stage, he is to take a decision. He wants that the total distance covered at the end of the journey must be minimum. So, out of these 4 cities, he will move to the city which gives the shortest distance. So, the shortest distance taken by the salesman is the decision, and the variable is the distance covered. So, distance covered will be the minimum value. So, this is our decision variable or the policy variable. So, each stage we have to take a decision through changing the decision variables or the policy variables. Now, we will discuss what is optimal policy. A policy which optimizes the value of the criterion, return or objective function. These two we have already discussed. Return function we have already discussed. I will repeat, a policy which optimizes the value of a criterion, return or objective function is called an optimal policy. The policy which we adopt to have our decision optimal is called the optimal policy. Starting in any given state of any stage, whenever we are in a stage, our state is also defined at that stage. Optimal policy depends only upon that state and not upon how it was reached. Whatever decision is to be taken, it depends only on the current state, not the procedure we have adopted in reaching that particular state. It is independent of the process, independent of the procedure which we have already used in reaching this particular state. In accordance with the principle of optimality, which was given by Bellman, the optimal return function is found by optimizing the immediate return cost from previous stage n plus the known optimal return cost from the previous stage n minus 1. If we are talking about the stage n, then the previous is n minus 1 stage. So, this defines optimal policy. Now, I will define the general relationship between state, stage and policy. Policy is nothing but decision what we take. In this particular diagram, 3 stages are shown: stage 1 and stage n. At the end points we have shown. We are moving from stage n, from the end point towards the stage 1. In between we have shown after n, stage n minus 1, and with a dotted arrow we have reached the stage 1 also. On the basis of the principle of optimality, the multi-stage problem is solved by first solving the problem in the last stage, then working backward and solving the problem in the next to last stage, and so on until the first stage problem is solved. This procedure is called backward recursion, because we are starting from the end point and we are going towards the first stage. On this diagram, dn, dn minus 1 and d1, these are the decisions taken at stage n, at stage n minus 1 and at stage 1. Stages are numbered: stage n, stage n minus 1 and stage 1, and transition function is shown by Tn, Tn minus 1 and T1, and the stage numbers are Sn, Sn minus 1 and finally S1. Looking at this diagram, whatever definitions we have already given, and we have shown those statements on this particular diagram. Again we look at the diagram. At any stage n, the next state moving backward through the system. Backward means moving from the last stage to the first stage. Sn minus 1, we are moving from Sn stage to Sn minus 1 stage, is a function of state Ns only. It depends only on the stage Sn and nothing else. Whatever decisions are to be taken, those will be taken on the basis of the state Sn. We will move on to Sn minus 1. At stage n and the decision Dn is taken, made at the stage, that is Sn minus 1 equal to Tn is a function of Sn and decision Dn, where Tn is the state transformation function and its form depends on the particular problem to be solved. It is unique with the problem, not unique with the previous decision taken. I will repeat, at any stage n, the next state moving backward through the system Sn minus 1 is a function of state Sn. At stage n and the decision Dn made at the stage, that is Sn minus 1 is equal to Tn, which is a function of Sn and Dn, where Tn is the state transformation function and its form depends on the particular problem to be solved. Now we will discuss the procedure for formulating and solving a dynamic programming problem. We have a specific procedure which is used in solving the problem, and there are different steps which are to be followed to get a solution to the problem. The first step in the solution of dynamic programming problem is define the problem, decision or policy variable, objective function to be optimized, and specify the problem constraints. There are 3-4 things which are stated in the first step. I would say first read the problem, understand the problem thoroughly, so that on your own you can define the problem, you can pick the decision variables or the policy variable and the objective function which is to be optimized, and also see whether it is a maximization problem or minimization problem. After noting down all these things, then you are also to pick the constraints under which the problem solution is to be sought. This is the step number 1. Step number 2, at this stage, define the stages of the multi-stage decision problem to be solved. Determine the state variables whose values constitute the state at each stage. In this we have written that the main problem is to be broken down into different parts. Main problem, and we have to break it down into sub-problems. When sub-problems have been made, at each stage where a decision is to be taken, we are to work out what is the decision variable at that particular stage. What is the policy variable at that stage which will constitute to the solution to the big problem. Now, at this step, specify the relationship transformation function. We have to give the relationship, rather we have to give the transformation function by which the state at one stage is determined as a function of the state and decision at the next stage. So, we have to identify the transformation function at step number 2. Step number 3. In this step, formulate the optimum return function. Here we have to see the return function and we have to formulate with respect to recursive function, which is used for computing the optimal policy given the state at any stage. Specify optimal return function at state 1 and work backwards. Initial stage and then we have to work backwards. Here we have discussed, we have to move recursively and we have to identify the recursive function, rather return function, which is used in computing the decision variables at that particular stage. Step number 4, we will construct the appropriate tables to show the required values of the return function and calculations for each stage. So, what we are doing at each stage, that should be recorded in a systematic manner. For recording our calculations, we make use of tables with appropriate columns and rows. In those columns, we record our findings at every stage. And these decisions are recorded for sub-problems and the solutions of these sub-problems will form the solution to our main problem. Now, we will discuss the next step, step number 5. Determine the overall optimal policy or decision and its value at each stage. There will be more than one such optimal decision or policy. At the end of the calculations, we may find that solution to our main problem is not one and maybe it is more than one. Only through our calculations and tabulations we shall be able to know that whether we have a unique solution or more than one solutions are possible to this basic problem. Now, let us discuss a particular problem, a salesman problem. A salesman located in city A decided to travel to city B. There are two unique cities, city A and city B. Salesman wants to go from city A to city B. He knew the distances of alternative routes from city A to city B. In between, there are so many other cities available where the salesman can break his journey, and all the distances from city A to these sub-cities are known to the salesman, and finally he is to reach city B. He drew the highway network map as shown in the figure above. He has made a diagram for all the routes available from city A to sub-cities and finally to city B. The city of origin, city A, is city 1 and this is denoted by node 1. The destination city B is city 10 denoted by city 10. Other cities through which salesman will have to pass are given the numbers from 2 to 10. Including city A and city B, overall number of cities are 10. City 1 is the starting point and city 10 is the stop point where the salesman wants to reach. The arrows represent the routes between the cities and distances in kilometers are indicated for each route. The salesman's problem is to find the shortest route that covers the selected cities from city A to city B, because he cannot go directly to city B because no such route is available. He can go from city A to city B or city 1 to city 10 via certain sub-cities, and he is to finally reach city B, and distance to be covered should be the minimum. Now, using dynamic programming problem, we will find a solution to this problem. For solving this problem, salesman divides all the available routes from city A to city B into 5 stages as shown in the diagram. Each stage consists of a set of cities. For systematic approach to dynamic programming model, following notations are considered. What are these notations? N shows the number of stages. A stage consists of a group of cities in this particular case. S is the state variable that describes a specific city at any stage. D, S plus T, immediate distance return from entering state S to existing state T. Two states are there, S and T, so D is the ds plus T is the distance. F and S, optimal return function, F and S is nothing but return function, minimum distance, our function is now minimum distance. When the salesman is in state S with n more stages to go for reaching the final state destination. And TNS, a policy decision of selecting the route that yields the return function FNS. And these are the terms we have explained. Now we will try to cover the solution of this problem. Looking at the diagram, there are 5 stages. Let us say consider stage 1. Stage 1 has only one city, city 10, city B, whereas stage 2 have 2 cities, 8 and 9. Stage 3 has 5, 6 and 7, 3 cities. Stage 4 has 2, 3 and 4, 3 cities. And stage 5 again has only one city, which is city A. We start calculating distances between pair of cities from stage 5 backward and assume that salesman has arrived at stage 4. In general case, for any state S at any stage n, the optimal return function for the shortest route problem can be expressed as follows. Return function is equal to minimum immediate return distance, because we want the shortest possible route, that is why we have written minimum. Now, from state S to state T plus known optimal distance travelled up to state T from previous stage. So, at any stage, whatever distance has already been covered plus the distance to be covered while moving from this stage to another stage. This will be the total distance covered so far. FNS in this case will be minimizing DST plus Fn minus 1 T, where n can be 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. As mentioned before, we start backward. Starting from city B, at this stage the optimal value is F010 is 0. F010 means at city 10 the distance covered is 0 because we are starting from city B. For T010 is stop. Transformation function is we have to stop. We are not to move further because we have reached city B. If we treat this as known as distance in the previous stage, immediate distances for entering into state 8 are stage 9 in stage n is equal to 1 are D 8 plus 10 which is equal to 8. Look at the diagram, or D 9 plus 10 is equal to 4 respectively. So, two options are there, one is covering 8 kilometers, other is covering 4 kilometers. So, if salesman arrives at state 8 or 9 in the stage 2, the best policy is to go to state 10 via route 9-10. These results are shown in the stage 1 column of the table. Of course, I will show you the table at the end of this slide. Now, we come back one stage and assume that the salesman is now at stage 3 and has arrived at state 5, 6 or 7, and thinking at minimizing the travel distance. Therefore, F3S is again minimizing DST plus FST, where we have to work out for 5, we have to work out for 6, we have to work out for 7 also. If we work out for 5, for S is equal to 5, the formula is now F3 5, which is minimizing 4 plus F2 8, which is equal to nothing but 4 plus 8 equal to 12. Or second option is 8 plus F2 9, which is 8 plus 4 equal to 12. Both the routes are giving me 12 kilometers. I can make use of any of these two routes. This value is obtained when T is equal to 8 or 9. For S is equal to 6, we have to work it for T is equal to 8 or 9, S is equal to 6, because we have to cover it for 5, 6 and 7. F3 6 is nothing but minimize 9 plus F2 8, which is equal to 9 plus 8, total is 17, or the second option is 6 plus F2 9, which is equal to 6 plus 4 equal to 10. Out of these, I am to select the shortest distance. And next one is now the shortest distance optimal route from state 6 to 9 in stage 2, that is when T is equal to 9. So, we will select this particular route at this stage. When S is 7, we will work out again F3 7, which is again minimizing 5 plus F2 8, which is nothing but 5 plus 8 13, or 8 plus F2 9, which is 4 plus 4 8. So, 8 is our optimal route from state S 9 in stage 2, that is when T is equal to 9. And this is the way we use recursive procedure to find a solution to our dynamic problem. These results are entered into stage 3, stage 3 column of the table. Repeat the same process for stage 4 and 5 and determine the shortest route from state 2 to 10 by way of stages 2 and 3, and shortest route from the state 1 to 10 by way of states 2 and 3 and 4. The complete summary of the optimal policy from state 1 to 10 is given in the table. Now, I will show you the table also. With our working, everything is recorded in the table. So, our route will be from the table. We see that the shortest route now is state 1 to state 4 to state 6 and to state 9 to state 10. So, 1 to 4, 4 to 6 and 6 to 9 and 9 to 10, and the distance covered is 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus 4, which is equal to 16 kilometer. 16 kilometer is the shortest distance covered by salesman. And this is the same table. Our calculations are recorded in this table. Here basically 4 things are mentioned in the columns. One is the entering state S. and the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and what is the optimal policy. Under each stage, we have written ds minus 1, fn minus 1t, and fns. Similarly, for stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, we have written. In the optimal policy, what route we have chosen as the shortest route at any stage is recorded here. Stage 1, first route is available, 8 to 10 is 8 kilometers, 9 to 10 is 4 kilometers. And then 4 is the shortest, we have selected 9 to 10, which is written in the optimal policy. Next, we are available with 7 to 9 and 6 to 9, 5 to 9 as 4, 6 and 8 kilometers. If we add to our previous distance covered, we will get 8, 10 and 12. And similarly, 4, 6, 3 kilometers, 3, 6, 7 kilometers, 2, 6, 9 kilometers, and the distances are 13, 17 and 9. Out of these, 13 is the minimum. We have selected 4 to 16. At the end, it is 1 to 4. And everything is now recorded in the table, whatever calculations we have made. I hope I am able to explain the concept of dynamic programming and the steps and the procedure which is used in finding a solution to our problem.
Definitely, we also hope that all what Dr. Kakkad has delivered through this lecture, you would be able to grab. And I would like to tell you all that if you have any queries, definitely you can ask your queries with the help of the email ID I am giving you. In the next lecture, when Professor Kakkad comes, we can definitely solve your queries. So the email ID is info.cec@nic.in. Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, viewers. Yeah, thank you, Gitika.
Thank you.